By the time NASA got back to me, he was dead. Oh, hi. Sorry. Hello, and welcome to The Jib. This bi-weekly podcast is about the many and varied schemes of the many and varied U.S. law enforcement and intelligence agencies, organizations and committees, and how they are stupid and funny. Join us on our merry journey through space and time. Hi, my name is Barry. You might know me as the voice of the computer in possibly the worst adaptation of Macbeth I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Seamus, and you may know me from such voiceover works and such things as Encounters of the Right Kind,
Oh, no.
Putin on the Ritz, and Last Brunch Before COVID.
Before COVID. Okay, I see what you did there.
Thank you.
The sharper among you may have noticed that we have a special guest.
We do?
Our special guest is Chesh.
Hello.
That's Chesh. and I guess, but we're not here to discuss Chesh's
You're not here to
last
discuss
problem.
my transformation.
I wasn't going to mention that. Anyway, you give that thing a whole personality. Come on.
Oh, I thought we were doing introduction puns. My bad.
Okay, yeah. No, you're right. But what we're here to discuss is something else. And Chesh has not been informed of the topic of this,
I have no idea what we're doing. They had to give Barry an advantage.
which I'd feel a lot better about if I was also, informed. But I have no idea what's going to happen either.
He needs more of an advantage.
I need more of an advantage because of the last time we did this. Chesh pretty much catapulted me into the ground repeatedly.
All right, my arm's getting tired.
Yeah, I was going to say, Chesh, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to read this because I'm sitting here trying not to.
I could do it the whole time. Once upon a time, I used to do I ran the entire puppet show for a couple of years for the kids at the church that I used to go to.
That's so much better than what I
Every
thought.
Sunday.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Mm.
I technically I think I count as having enough experience to be a legitimate puppeteer.
Yeah, the thing had personality. So, Seamus, why are we here?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. This story is a little complicated, so bear with me. There's a lot of things that I had to not put in here for the script to be too long.
Been there.
This is my best guess on some things, so feel free for those in the chat and everything to school me, because I'm sure some of you will. That's fine. But anyways,
Cretaceous period.
we're going to start in July 26, 1931. Vincent Lapart was born in Mattawa neighborhood of West Philadelphia. His father was what's that?
Just
What?
already no. In West Philadelphia, born and raised. Did he spend most of his days in the playground, Seamus?
No. This
Okay.
is not that kind of story.
Pretty
Okay,
sure
so-
that would have technically been before basketball was invented and popularized in the States.
I didn't
So
say
he
anything
wouldn't
about
have been playing b-ball.
I'd have put
his-
something else in that fits, all right?
His father was Frederick, a handyman. His mother was Lene May. She was a homemaker. There was 10 kids. He was one.
Okay.
As a child, he was painfully thin and underweight. At age 9, he was transferred to the School of Slow Learners for learning simple trades. The kind of best description I had about his learning disability was that he had a hard time reading and understanding some, like simple things. But
Okay.
nobody would call him like a slow kid. He was actually,
Okay.
actually
So
very
Trump
smart.
level.
Just had a-
Okay.
Hey, now. Anywho, he was drafted by the Army. He dropped out of school at 16.
Okay.
Drafted
Oh
in the
no,
Army.
he definitely could have been playing basketball. It was 1891 when it was first played, so I take that back.
That's why I said it, okay?
Jeez. Upon his return, he met Dorothy Clark. They shortly married. At the age of 20, or therefore at the age of 29, she later described their marriage as ordinary, and friends described Apart as level-headed and dependable.
Okay.
Also noting that Dorothy would help him with his reading and writing skills. The two, though, would separate in 1968. 1971, he moved to Powelton in West Philadelphia, close to the University of Pennsylvania. And he started living at the Community House Incorporated, which is like a co-op. So a bunch of people got together to, buy the land and stuff, so they wouldn't get all seized, right? So it's very kind of like, So near the schools, there's a lot of academic types. It's post summer of love, so you got all that college.
Living in a commune.
Yeah, right. Although the area was largely a majority of academic residents, Lepard was seen as an eccentric yet tolerable.
Eccentric yet tolerable, as opposed to Barry, who is eccentric yet intolerable.
Very, yeah.
Well, I've been married twice, and on both occasions they said something like that: eccentric but tolerable. And then in the divorces, they said what Chesh just said.
He supported himself by being a dog walker. He would walk the streets of his neighborhood with several dogs at a time, appearing himself to be rather unkempt, shouting his philosophical views for the world to hear.
Oh, no.
The year was 1972, and Lepard changed his name to John Africa.
Okay.
Africa managed to attract people. What's that?
Is he black?
Yes, he is.
Oh, thank God. That's good.
What?
A white guy in the 60s wandering the streets yelling philosophical views names himself Africa? Yeah, all right.
He managed to attract a few people in the area of Philadelphia who were willing to believe in his ideology. One of those who he listened to was a young white dude named Donald Glassy. Glassy was so moved by Africa's teachings that he volunteered to write and compile them to actually form a book, right? Of his teachings. Glassy notes were eventually formed as the basis of a document called the Guidelines. With Glassy, Africa moved his new organization to a house on Pearl Street, which Glassy paid for. It's also in part because the co-op didn't want anything more to do with John Africa.
So he became intolerable.
Yes, in a co-op. In this time. Come on. So.
Yeah. Well, we know in West Philadelphia, they just take anyone.
So, anyways, they go to West Philadelphia, where they started the Christian Movement for Life.
I don't like it.
Which simply became Move.
I don't like it.
You guys never heard of Move?
And show me what you can do when you step into the circle and shake like we do.
The group's Move is not an acronym. Africa chose the name to say what it intended to its members. Members that attended the activity say everything that's alive moves. If it didn't, it wouldn't. It would be stagnant and dead. When members greet each other, they would simply say, "On the move." Hey Barry, I'm on the move.
On the move.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard worse.
Yeah,
it's not a bad catchphrase.
Members of Move identified as deeply religious and advocated for life. And I'm going to go back and forth about the things they believe, so bear with me. They believe that all living things are dependent. Their lives should be treated as equally important. They advocated for justice. They also this is not based within the institutions. Move members believe that for something to be just, it must just be for all living creatures. So from the insect to the bird in the sky to the man in the White House, all that happy stuff. As John Africa had done, his followers changed their surnames to Africa. Oh, yeah. So Barry Africa, Chesh Africa.
Seamus Africa.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Not doing it? Okay.
That's a little bit too close to like blackface for me.
Yeah.
Sorry. His followers changed their surnames to Africa to show reverence to what they regarded as their mother continent. Also,
they're all black.
Well, at this point, they're kind of integrated, but they're going to be all black. So, also,
I mean,
like whether they want to be or not.
Isn't there historical evolutionary precedent to say that kind of everybody came from Africa?
Right. Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know if they would have known that at the time, but probably that doesn't, not. You know what I mean? We're unintentionally correct.
Fair. Also, there was no age discrimination. All members were designated to the age of 1.
I see.
Yep.
This got really not okay really quick.
How do they breed?
Huh?
How do they breed if they're all 1 year old?
Well, when a mommy Africa likes a daddy Africa.
They're all 1 year old.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just telling you what.
That's disgusting.
Africa and his mostly African American followers wore their hair in dreadlocks, much like
dreadlocks are cool.
Yeah, much like Rastafarians at the time. Move advocated for a radical form of green politics and a return to hunter-gatherer society, while stating their opposition to science, medicine, and technology.
Science. Okay.
But, but,
Yeah.
you don't. That's not
That's not how
Okay.
this works.
That's not how this works.
We're institutionalized now.
Uh.
We need institutions to survive.
Well,
But they're
even
against
if you-
institutions.
Even
That's-
if you
that's,
did
you know.
like blow up all the institutions, all the people that are around are still people that are used to institutions, so they would just make new institutions.
That's exactly what
even-
they're doing, right?
Yeah. Even if you didn't like, this is one thing that like annoyed me more when I was younger. It doesn't annoy me as much now because I think most people have kind of gotten over this, but there used to be this really big idea or very common conception that if you were for green and you wanted like climate and environmentally friendly stuff, you had to be anti-technology or anti-progress, and that just never was the case. That was some bullshit propaganda where in fact you want to invest heavily in more advanced technologies to enable green processing, but whatever, what do I know? I'm just literally green.
The guidelines articulated teaching such as strict veganism and the inherent value of all living things.
What's the difference between strict and not strict veganism?
Exactly, right? John Africa and his followers lived in a commune in a house owned by Glassley and Powelton, a section of West Philadelphia. As activists, they staged demonstrations against institutions that they opposed, such as zoos, speakers who viewed views they opposed. Even Jane Fonda, they demonstrated against her because she wasn't against the war enough.
I'm glad someone's dealing with the Fonda threat.
Yeah, yeah. Move's activities were scrutinized by law enforcement and authorities, particularly under the administration of Mayor Frank Rizzo.
What's his name?
Frank Rizzo.
Rizzo.
I'm gonna put a little bit in with him.
Rizlo
There's
the
so
Rizzler.
much. I mean, you could do a whole episode on him. Rizzo's legacy is
Isn't
saturated.
Rizzo the name of the rat
Yes.
in the Muppets?
Yeah.
And he's also the Jerky Boys, whatever they used to do the prank calls. They did a Rizzo character based off of him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Rizzo's legacy is saturated with racism, brutality as a cop of the Philadelphia Police Department. Before, during, and after his tenure as police commissioner, the department engaged a pattern of police misconduct, and particularly towards members of the black community. As mayor, Rizzo, like many of his contemporaries, was opposed to the construction of public housing and establishment of neighborhoods, most of which time housed majority white populations. Rizzo used his thuggish cop on the beat attitude to spill over to his tenure as mayor. Now, let's talk a little bit more about Move. Some guy wrote in The Guardian. I'm not going to even try to think his name. Anyways, described them as a strange fusion of black power and flower power. The group that formed in the 1970s melded the revolutionary ideology of the Black Panthers with the nature, animal-loving communalism of the 1960s hippies. You might characterize them as black liberation come echo warriors. And yes, he did spell come like you think.
Okay. So far, this sounds like a movie I saw once called Space is the Place.
Space is the place?
Yeah, by Sun Ra, the jazz
musician.
Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds like that, right?
I didn't know he did a movie.
Oh, it's
What?
brilliant. It's really good. It's like the Wakanda movie, but like in 1972.
Okay.
Well, that's cool.
It's incredibly sad. He has this he's trying to get all the black people together to go back to their real planet, and where they actually come from, to a different planet.
Oh,
And he says,
okay. I've heard of this, but I didn't know it
Don't
was...
seriously think black people belong here, do you? He says, we can do better than that. We have a proper planet where black people are welcomed and we do well and we're allowed to thrive and so on. It's kind of sad, but also amazing. It's called Space is the Place if you want to check it out.
I didn't know that's who did that, but I did hear something about that movie before. but I realized it
What
was Sun
is
Ra.
a cum echo?
I have no fucking idea.
Jesus, Chesh.
Is
Did
that
he explain to you?
Is that like where you come once and then like half a second later you kind of do like half of a cum again afterward?
A sympathetic cum?
Yeah, it's like a little bit.
I feel like women and men are going to answer this differently.
Yeah.
It doesn't reach as far. It's not quite as loud. It's not quite as impactful. But like it's like
I don't know. Maybe it's if you do it off a cliff and wait for the reply.
Just jizz off of Mount Everest.
Under his guiding principles, any form of government represents an unwanted intrusion on individuals. Modern technology is blamed for society's degradation. Move members pride themselves on living close to nature, sparing electricity except the need to power loudspeakers and tap
Oh yeah,
water.
they spurt electricity except for when they need it. Yeah, I get that. Me too.
And leaving their garbage on the ground to be recycled to Mother Earth.
Electricity is fine.
Yeah.
Electricity can be green.
Yeah, I have
agree.
solar panels in my house. I'm creating more energy than I use during the day.
Instead of soap,
Yeah,
Move
whatever.
members used herbal mixture that included garlic.
Okay.
I love garlic.
They routinely
You have
took
to
in
wash
stray
yourself then.
took
I'll
in
just
stray
eat garlic all the
took in
time.
stray animals of all
Okay.
kind. Also considered one of nature's gifts, feeding rats that assume the status of the co-tenants in the dwelling.
That's fair. I'd be okay
They
with that.
began composting in the yard as an eco-friendly way of disposing of their waste.
That's fine.
This isn't
The rats could be a problem.
Yeah, that'll be all right.
I'm not against the idea of if you have like a quote unquote pest in your house and just deciding to kind of adopt it. Fine. Like if I had a raccoon in my ceiling, I'd be like, you belong to me now. But or like a skunk in my garden. But when you're talking about rats and if they are propagating, and they will and can propagate incredibly fast, if you do not know what you're doing, you are going to make a very, very big problem very, very, very quickly that is going to be not just detrimental to you, but also detrimental to the rats.
Mhm.
So again, I'm not against this, but you need to actually know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you're
Have
just
you heard
making
about
everything
the
worse.
Canadian province that doesn't have any rats in it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are.
There's one Canadian province that has no rats in it.
Yeah, it's North.
Alberta.
Right?
It's as far as I know, it's the only territory on the
I
entire
think it's
planet that has no
Yukon.
rats in it.
Okay.
Might be the Yukon. If it's not the Yukon, it's none of it.
It's impressive,
So
though. It's a government program, you know? It's good stuff.
You may draw a line here, though, Chesh.
I mean, we
Uh,
also airdropped wolves into Minnesota, so we got that going for us too. You're welcome.
Oh, but when I do that,
Yeah.
everyone loses their mind.
Yeah.
So again, they put out all this waste, right? This
Okay.
fecal matter. This drew more rats and cockroaches. Neighbors were not okay with this,
Yeah,
and when
Not
asked
in
if
my
they
backyard.
should use when they should use pest control to eliminate roaches, members of Move refused to kill God's creatures.
okay.
Yeah,
Again, I don't. Yeah, this is the problem with like environmentalism is great, but you
Yes.
need to know what you're doing, and to know what you're doing, you need science. You cannot have one without the other if you're not just going to create a massive problem. There's nothing wrong with having your property and turning your property into a functional ecosystem, but for it to be a functional ecosystem, it needs to be balanced. Just accepting everything and just enabling everything all the time is just not balanced at all, and
Yeah.
is going to just cause destruction and problems literally everywhere. There are places, there are things like Canada has like a thing that's like relatively popular. It's not super duper popular, but it's gaining more traction, and it is basically turning your yard, instead of having grass everywhere, building like a wildflower
Love it.
be positive,
Big fan.
like little functional
Love
eco
it.
corner,
Honestly,
right?
yeah.
So that kind of thing works, and like nobody's gonna have a problem if there's like some rats living in this area. But the problem is if those rats get out of control. The problem isn't having a cockroach. The problem is if the cockroach population gets out of control. What you want is more bees. What you want is praying mantis. What you want is other predator bugs and insects that are going to mitigate those populations. So you don't want like your wildflowers aren't going to do well if it's full of grubs. The way you don't have a bunch of grubs is by having other bugs that are going to eat those grubs, or things like skunks. So if there's a high skunk population in the area, that's perfect. That's what you want. But you don't want too many, because if you have too many skunks, then you don't have this, and you're going to attract coyotes. And if you attract coyotes, you're going to have this other problem. So you need to balance and mitigate what you're doing. It's not that difficult. It's just a matter of you need to know what you're doing.
right. And it's one thing to do this in a rural area. This is in the middle of West Philadelphia. This is an urban area.
Oh no, we do these things in urban areas.
Oh,
so
you
like,
serious?
yeah. So
Oh,
if
wow,
I
okay.
go on a walk down the road from
Yeah.
where I am and where I used to live in London, there was a couple of them where, depending on where you live, it's a more or less popular. Where your people's front yards are not grass. They're a mixture of, sometimes there's like clover grass, sometimes there's like big tall bushes of like wildflowers, and they usually got like one or two trees on the property just to help balance things out. And it's really nice. It's gorgeous
Okay, that's
looking. I'll
cool.
see if I can take a picture of it, send it to you sometime.
Cool. Often they use forms of demonstration that they used against, the institutions that they were against neighbors that they had issues with. Neighbors were screamed at and circled like in a shame circle and picketed against.
I think America needs to pick that up again and start doing that more often to some people.
Yeah. The first clash with Philadelphia officials came in '75 when the city filed suit against Move after receiving complaints about the rats, fecal odor, and building code violations. Members of Move were often arrested for protests and other minor misdemeanors. Police often were accused of beating members of Move without cause. Cop shit.
No, they have a
right?
cause.
Well, yeah. The neighbors.
Accused of.
Yeah. The neighbors' next move got so weary from harassment and the smell, they vacated the building. So, one of the buildings right next to them. So, Move, who had doubled in numbers by that time, took over the building, and Move's expansion came through recruitment of ex-cons and area vagrants. So, Move is on the rise. Although they claimed to be against technology, the group dropped its early nonviolence creed and began arming themselves with automatic weapons and enrolling self-defense courses.
There's the Black Panther part.
Yep.
Yeah.
The FBI was already monitoring Black liberation groups through COINTEL program, which listen to like half our episodes if you want to get an understanding about COINTELPRO. Took notice of Move's defiant stance. Agents work alongside the Philadelphia Police Department, conducting surveillance and attempting to infiltrate the group. Law enforcement viewed Move as an extremist organization, one they were determined to dismantle.
Okay.
Now, you might be surprised, Donald Glassy, the white guy in the group, turned government snitch. Now, this is where some of the things... now, this is where part of this is a little bit... We're just not sure, right?
A richer white guy snitching on all the brown people, the black people? No, that would never happen.
His motivations is what we're a little bit, right? So some say it's because the group switched from being integrated to, just pretty much all black. Some say it was because he was arrested on minor weapons charge. Others believe that he was a Fed from the beginning, that he was the actual person that made Move. It just kind of propped up Africa as the stooge, via COINTELPRO.
Classic COINTELPRO move, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's all three in a way.
Why would they need to do that if the group didn't exist in the first place?
They do it all the time.
They do it all the time.
They do it all the time?
Yeah,
they make up terrorist groups and they make up weird commune-based stuff, and then they bust them. And
but they build it themselves, though?
Yeah.
Yes.
They would recruit people to build it. We did an episode called we did an episode about the Secret Army, which was a splinter group of another, like right-wing extreme group. And one of the guys in there was a Fed, and he made the group to start assassinating left-wing people.
Yeah.
And they got broken up and found out. That's the only reason.
We did another episode called the Newburgh Four, where the FBI basically went to people and said, "Here, have you thought about being terrorists? Here, we will show you how to do it."
Post 9/11, there's so many of those where they just
Are we coming to a conclusion that MAGA was made by this fucking group? Like the whole QAnon thing?
Anything's possible.
And the Pizzagate shit?
It's possible. Anything's possible. We don't know yet. We haven't come to the end of that, I don't think.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I know it sounds fucking nuts, but FBI documents back this shit up. So I couldn't find anything on this, but just the other
though?
Because they need to bust the bad guys instead of sitting on their asses all day, and instead of actually looking for bad guys, they make bad guys and then bust those people.
Why can't you just be lazy and just take your paycheck? This is
Because they need to be able to report to
Oreos.
somebody that they're
Stop
doing
making
something.
Oreos.
No, they need to do something. We're doing something about terrorism in this country. It's not just
Oh,
about
And,
taking off
and
your
to
shoes
them
at the
is
airport.
to them, terrorist is anything that's considered leftist, socialist, labor movements, communist.
bro,
Yeah.
just stop it. You already made the perfect cookie. You don't need to make new Oreos.
Yeah. Late. So, anyways, Glassy told the police about a cache of weapons that they kept in MOVE headquarters in late 1976. Police began around-clock surveillance of the headquarters that lasted for about 10 months. By early 77, 11 members were charged with weapon violations, and the police went to make their arrest. So Rizzo decides that, okay, we're just going to barricade these motherfuckers in, right? So
Rizzo the rat.
Rizzo the mayor, right? So he tells the police, hey, just barricade them in. We're not, we're going to make them come out because we don't want to come in there and, get shot. Move sends
Poo and rats.
Move sends them
What is First Amendment? Second Amendment? Second Amendment rights for guns?
The Fourth Amendment would be.
well, Fourth Amendment is seizure. Second Amendment's guns.
Yeah, they're going to seize the stuff, right?
Yeah. So Move sends them a written statement, right? Quote, don't attempt to enter MOVE headquarters or harm MOVE people unless you want an international incident. We are preparing to hit reservoirs, empty hotels and apartment houses, close factories, and tight traffic in major cities of Europe.
Okay, first off, nobody is going to care if you blow up a Trump tower. Like, empty hotels are meaningless.
Right. We are equipped, well-trained expert in guerrilla tactics. We are not a bunch of frustrated middle-class college students, irrational radicals, or confused terrorists.
Somebody should have called
One of
their
those.
said name one factory in Europe.
We are a deeply religious organization, totally committed to the principle and belief as taught by us, our founder, John Africa. We are not looking for trouble. We're just looking to be left alone. And they signed a statement with a chemical equation for nitroglycerin and TNT.
Yeah.
If you're asking me, I think I know of two Canadian entities that operate factories in Europe. One of which I believe is Aerotech, and the other one I know is Linamar. I'm pretty sure both of them.
They were saying that they were going to bomb factories in Europe. Like I just wanted to know if they could name anywhere they intended to bomb.
Hey, all I'm saying is that I do know those things.
Yeah, you don't know the name of the factories or where they are. You just know companies that operate in Europe. These guys
you're talking about a location, yeah.
Well, how else are you going to bomb somewhere? You can't bomb somewhere in the abstract.
You'd be surprised.
This was the longest. This was the longest standoff with police. MOVE members remained barricaded in their house from May 20th, 1977 to May 4th, 1978.
How did they get food in?
Hippies and people would throw shit over the wall.
Okay.
That's the only way they made it.
They should have been self-sufficient by that point if they knew what they were doing. They shouldn't have needed to worry about it. But they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
They accepted a 10-point agreement calling for MOVE to surrender to authorities and vacate the house in exchange for farmland in South New Jersey. 3 months later, however, when the group still had not moved, a shootout developed.
Oh, that's too bad. That's a good deal. They negotiated
Right?
a good deal for themselves. Why didn't they go?
Fuck, I don't know, man. On August 8, 1978...
I wish I could negotiate that kind of deal by sitting in my house. Shit.
Armored police surrounded the headquarters again with an evict to MOVE. Violent standoff erupted. When the smoke cleared, Officer John Ramp was dead. MOVE members insisted that they hadn't fired the shot, but Ramp had been killed by one of his own by accident.
Dead cop. That's not good news.
Their thing is, couldn't find where they could prove who actually did shoot him, so I don't fucking know. But anyways,
listen, you as the resident Canadian here at the moment, you don't want to talk about how often Americans shoots their allies and their own guys. Right. It's a lot. It's like if you knew that, like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Even in a situation like that, like
in Iraq and Afghanistan war, the Americans were shooting Canadians.
Yeah, I understand that. No one likes Canadians, but I'm talking about they surrounded the building here, and they were. How do you think they could have got friendly fire in that situation?
It happens. I mean, look at the Haymarket affair. They always blamed anarchists for killing the cops, and
I can see in a war situation where
the
things are
ballistics
confusing and soldiers
proved that the
accidentally
cops
shooting
shot
each
each
other.
other.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, so that does
during the
happen.
Haymarket affair. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, have you ever played the game SWAT?
No.
You should try it.
You're
See
gonna
how
tell me?
often you get shot or shoot your own guys because they're running in front? Like, it's...
What? A computer game, is it?
Yeah. You can play it on a couple of different ones. There's newer SWATs as well, but, like,
Oh,
there's...
SWAT.
Yes.
Okay.
SAWT, SWAT.
Cool.
Members and some children were driven from the compound, flushed out from the basement by water from fire hoses used them to get them out. When one guy came
Cleanest
out
they've ever
to
been.
give up. What?
It's the cleanest they've ever been.
To give up to the cops, they just beat the shit out of this guy, right?
Oh.
Now the officer's brutality was captured on video by reporters, and charges were brought up by a DA, but a judge dismissed the case before it ever got to trial.
Ugh.
Do you know why?
Yeah, what do you think? Nine MOVE members were convicted of third-degree murder and sentenced to 30 to 100 years. What?
What's third degree mean?
I think first degree is the highest. So
No, I mean you were a cop.
but I don't know. Like,
You're talking about third degree murder,
so second
sorry?
degree would be like without intent, maybe.
Okay, so third degree.
So-
That's not manslaughter. It's worse than manslaughter, right?
That'd be
Okay,
worse
third
than
degree
manslaughter.
murder, definition of third degree murder can vary by state, but the uniform definition is that third degree murder occurs when there is no prior intent to kill.
There you go.
Murder was not intentional and occurred with malice, but was not premeditated.
Yeah, so it'd be like the
Okay. They got to prove malice then.
it'd be
Yes.
like death, during a crime. So you
I am
can
also
charge with
curious
that.
about what
Sure,
kind
so-
of malice you have to prove. Do you have to prove actual malice, as in like the
You
same
want him dead.
the same term as like the legal term as like defamation, where you have to prove actual malice, or is this like malice as in actually just like the standard dictionary, like, oh my god, I'm angry malice, I hate you type
I'm
malice?
sure the jury will be directed as to which of those they need to worry about.
Yes, yeah, they would be. I'm just curious as to which one.
I imagine it's the legal definition rather than the dictionary definition.
Well, the thing is legal definitions change depending on what thing you're talking about sometimes.
And apparently state by state. If you're
And yeah, exactly. So I don't know, but that's just from, if anybody's looking, that's from study.com and Academy Lesson, and then third degree.
sounds like it's a difficult thing to prove regardless. How would you prove that unless you say it directly to somebody?
Yeah, the premeditated part is the is part of the the difficulty of it, and usually for premeditated murder you have to have like stated it or made your intention clear in some other place, because you can't really prove intention after the fact. You have to have something that's the point of premeditated, right?
Yeah. We found his manifesto. Shit!
So here's a picture of Joe in Africa there in the middle. That's what he looks like.
Okay.
I mean, it looks like a pretty cool dude. Can't say I agree with some of his ideas, but like the concepts are not that bad.
I'm pretty sure that's George Clinton.
I can see why they were compared to the Rastafarians.
Yeah.
They decided they're going to regroup and vow for resistance, right? I didn't include in here between that point and this. John himself, whenever they got everybody out, was nowhere to be found.
Oh, okay.
He went on the
ran,
run.
really?
He went on the run, was later found, won on trial, and walked. The trial itself, we could do like all 20
Wait.
minutes
He went on trial he went on trial in Philadelphia.
Yes.
So they dragged him back.
But it was for charges unrelated to what happened that day.
It wasn't weapons charges or...
It was weapon charges, but
not to do with the shootout.
Yeah.
Okay.
In 1981, moved relocated to the row
They might not have been
house.
able to even prove he was there, because if they couldn't find him there at the scene, then it's likely that he wasn't there during the shootout. He was already gone.
It's going
So
to
if
be
they
a hard
couldn't prove
sell.
he was there, they couldn't charge him with anything.
Yep. So they moved to a row house on 6221 Osage Avenue in Cobbs Creek area of West Philadelphia. This is a middle to upper middle class area.
They're going to love to see them coming, aren't they?
The area is
Moved into Uncle Phil's house.
yeah. The area still is predominantly black, though.
okay.
I'm just throwing that out there because...
So it's not really upper middle class then?
Well, it is, but
Dude,
it is...
I'm kidding!
Sometimes I wonder about you, Barry.
It's not really upper middle class because there's black in it. Poor Seamus took me seriously. No, it is.
All I do is recommend watching The Boondocks.
Boondocks.
Okay.
Boondocks.
Yes.
Have you never seen The Boondocks?
No. That's a Filipino
geez.
word, though. It means mountains in Filipino.
It's fantastic. It's the name of the people that the characters. It's their last name.
Oh, John and Mary Boondock.
Sorry. Neighbors complained to the city for years about trash around the building. Members were walking around naked, confronting neighbors with bullhorn announcements, sometimes with obscene political messages by moved members. Daily sermons and taunting rhetoric was blasted via bullhorn all hours of the day and night.
Everybody owes Kathy Griffith an apology.
They won't like that. They won't be fans of that now.
So Move constructed wooden bunkers on top of the house. They erected large fence posts, boarded up their windows. The composts were back. They were put behind fence line. Rifle slids were created on each floor of the building.
Oh my
So
god!
they learned from their last shootout, did they?
Yes, they did.
What do you call that? They're castling, nesting. What do you call that?
Hunkering down.
Literally created a compound in West Philadelphia.
Jesus.
So
At last, we have a bunch of black people going, there goes the neighborhood. This is affecting our property values.
Not in my backyard.
Not in my backyard.
Trick, if you want to put in rifle slots, you put those slots on the inside of your house so they don't affect your property value on the outside.
Yes,
so that's supposed to be
Black Panthers.
That's supposed to be one of the bunkers on top of the building.
That's just one house that took over in this fucking middle class neighborhood.
There's 3 bunkers on top of this area that they have.
Why did they take the shingling off of the...
I have no idea.
Huh.
They try to repurpose every bit of it to make it into...
There's no way they got planning permission for that.
I'm not gonna lie, the outfits are killing. I love that. The bell bottoms with the belt with the holsters and like the wide collar with the open V-neck and like the rolled up cuffs, the afro.
Incorporating 70s fashion into some sort of military look. Amazing.
Oh god, it looks so good. The jumpsuit the girl's wearing on the right hand side. Oh my god.
Also, it's nice that they found somewhere to put their doors.
I would love to know what color their clothes are.
Beige. I can tell.
I don't know. There's gotta be. That looks bright on the top.
Bright beige.
I don't think I saw
beige.
I don't think I saw any pictures that were in color.
Well, I'm not going to Google in case I get a spoiler.
Yeah, you don't want spoilers right now. Trust me. Move occupants. Wait a minute, sorry.
It's a hell of a photo he showed.
The police obtained arrest warrants in 1985. Charges for move occupants with crimes involving parole violation, contempt of court, illegal possession of firearms, and making terroristic threats. Now, in between all this, we lost our dear Mayor Frank Rizzo. I believe he's still alive. He's just not mayor anymore.
Oh no, what a shame. The racist isn't mayor anymore.
Now we have Mayor Wilson Goody. He is Philly's first black mayor.
Hey.
Him and Police Commissioner George J. Sumbar classified MOVE as a terroristic organization.
Okay.
Police evacuated residents of the area from the neighborhood prior to their action.
What are they planning?
Residents were told that they would be able to return their homes in about 24 hours. Just give us a day, right? Things will be cool.
We'll bring tear gas.
So
I will have a deal brokered within 24 hours. We'll negotiate.
Best deal. Some of my best friends are black people.
On Monday, May.
You don't have friends. 13th, who are you lying to?
1985.
Doing my Trump impression.
Nearly 500 police officers, along with the city manager, Leo Brooks, arrived in force in an attempt to clear the building, execute warrants. Commissioner Sambor read a long speech addressing to MOVE via bullhorn.
Oh wow!
He got his own bullhorn. Yeah. It started with, "Attention, MOVE! This is America." You have to abide by American laws.
I thought this was America.
This is America. I'm sorry. Yeah.
There's no good. There's nobody good in this story. Just
This is
just
everything.
victims.
Yeah, this is everyone sucks.
Yeah. Move was given 15 minutes to come out. The deadline came and passed, except for scornful taunts from the people inside. They're basically telling the cops that all their wives will be, hooking up with some people later that night. I'll just leave it at that. You could use your imagination. Police lobbed tear gas canisters at the building. A burst of gunfire from an automatic weapon was heard.
From inside the house.
Now, the police commissioner said that Move began shooting by firing an automatic weapon, like a machine gun. Spoiler, no automatic weapon was ever found at the scene.
Oh.
The shootout would last 90 minutes.
Okay.
Police fired 10,000 rounds during this exchange.
10,000 rounds.
Just to start. Yeah.
In 90 minutes.
In 90 minutes. Wilson Goody heard the gunfire at his home a mile away. He and a group of his advisors were tensely sipping coffee and orange juice while waiting for Leo Brooks, the field commander, to call at the scene. After the first shots came in, a lull, then more firing. Goody grew agitated, pacing back and forth, and said, "It sounds like a machine gun." Given the amount of shooting...
That guy was like a mile away, and he's drinking coffee with his friends, and you can just hear in the back...
Yeah.
All I'm imagining is just give us 24 hours and everything will be fine, narrator. Everything within 24 hours was not fine.
Yes. A few moments later, right?
Nobody's actually firing at each other. It's just in the air.
Yeah. That's very American right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Given the amount of shooting, it's amazing nobody was seriously wounded. By mid-morning, the guns had fallen all silent. By early afternoon,
They fired 10,000
how
Yeah,
do
they
you
literally-
fire that many rounds and it successfully injure nobody when you are attempting to injure people?
There's like a tree in there, though. Oh, he knows what's
they
happening.
literally had to go and get more bullets because they were running out of bullets. Yeah. I mean, not joking. Seriously.
You shoot.
Yeah.
God, the American police shoot their own guys all the
Yeah.
fucking time, regularly shoot innocent people all the fucking time, and can't hit shit. What are you doing?
We hang our head in shame.
You should.
Yeah.
You should be embarrassed.
By early afternoon, every plan, gambit, and technique tried by the police had failed. They had attempted to blast the front door. They drilled holes in through the exterior walls, pumping in tear gas, but were driven away by gunfire from inside. They tried to break down the cellar from the adjacent house. They were turned away again.
So you guys just need to call the Canadians and learn how to rat hole.
Yeah, they didn't try that.
Do you guys know what rat holing is?
Digging underground?
No, rat holing is something that the Canadians invented in World War One, I believe, which is basically just blowing holes in sides of buildings and going through, and just so instead of traveling around guerrilla style, they would just blast holes in houses and just go through that house to the next house and just travel that way, so they didn't have to go outside and out of cover.
Okay.
Interesting. We'll see where this goes.
I believe it was World War One.
They tried. They employed the fire department to use water cannons. They poured tons of water on the roof. They did demolish two of the smaller bunkers by this, but they were unable to get the larger one in the middle. So around 2 p.m., Commissioner Sambor and other police officers arrived at an idea of attack. They're going to attack from the air.
Okay.
Sambor told reporters he did not recall who first suggested using explosives to demolish the roof bunker, though he did add that Lieutenant Powell of the bomb disposal unit, quote, came up with a recommendation that they create a kind of device that can be dropped by Powell himself. The Philadelphia Inquirer, though, published an impressive detailed report from at least 18 months the police had been working up to a contingency assault plan studying the moved bunker with photographic blow-ups. For weeks and possibly months, the paper said, police had been secretly testing various explosives, which they were given to by the FBI, by the way, including DuPont's Torvex TR2, which was later, skip that. I should have put that in there. While Sambor stuck to his contention that tests showed no response to suppose Torex would cause fire, the Inquirer cited technical lore from DuPont stating that a detonation would produce heat from 3,000 degrees to 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Well,
The lower limit is 3,000.
you have such a police force of an entire state being so incompetent that they can't deal with one reinforced bunker. And they'd been planning this for months and they still couldn't manage it. So they needed to bomb the house. Remember when they said, hey, everybody, get out of here. We need 24 hours. Everything will be fine. You don't need to worry about anything. I really hope all these people sued, like all these upper middle class people who actually had money sued the city.
So, right. So the degrees were quoted. DuPont's instance that this explosive was intended to be used for an underground for mining and quarry, but not in the open. So they're using their own kind of shit. So this is information they had prior to what they're going to do.
Cease, desist. Yes. Do not do this.
From a Pennsylvania State Police helicopter, Lieutenant Frank Powell proceeded to drop one 2-pound bomb, which that they got of this material from the FBI with a 40-second delay fuse. It would be surprised. It blew up that bunker, all right.
Bro, what is wrong with C4? What did C4 do wrong to you? Like, just use C4. Yeah. What the fuck?
The fire it quickly developed into a fire, right?
Yeah.
Mayor Goody was watching the siege on his television and at City Hall. And when the helicopter swooped in over Move's headquarters and dropped the explosive satchel, 2 floors above Goody, Councilman Lucian Blackwell also saw television footage of the bomb. He recounts, we watched it as it dropped. We watched and watched. The flames were getting larger and larger. Alarmed at seeing no effort to extinguish the fire, Blackwell called the mayor, who told him firemen were being held off out of fear that they would be shot by a move. Fire Commissioner William Richmond at first acceptance responsibility for holding the men off for safety's sake, saying that firemen are not infantry. But it would later come out that Sambor, the police commissioner, wouldn't allow them to put the fire out and would later admit that the delay and hope that the fire would destroy the bunker.
Motherfucker, you're bombing your own citizens. What are you doing?
They wanted them out. We'll get to what happens or doesn't.
They didn't want them out. They wanted them fucking dead.
Absolutely. For 90 minutes, the Philadelphia Police Department wouldn't allow the fire department to do anything.
Let it burn up.
90 minutes. While the compound was burning with people inside, there's a video. So the police had set up like a stakeout video across the street for months, and they apparently must have forgot it was there because it's filming that being burned, and there are police next to the camera, and you can hear one cop say to another, I bet they won't call the police commissioner a motherfucker anymore, and they all burst out laughing while it's burning down.
No, here, I'll do it. Motherfucker! Jesus Christ! I'm pretty sure I've actually called him a motherfucker multiple times at this point, by the way. Okay. For anybody keeping count.
We should have a motherfucker count thing at the top.
Yeah, do that. Edit that in. I got space on this wall right here. You can put it right there.
So the house gets completely engulfed in flames. Now 2 cops are in the rear, and they're hid under cover.
You're shopping in there. And motherfucker count was shopping into the drink room.
And they're undercover in the rear, hidden with a machine gun.
Okay.
Now, do you remember that guy that got beat the fuck out of?
Yeah.
And there was no charges. One of those cops is the guy with the gun.
Okay.
So Move members open up a garage door. That's part of the compound. They yell out that they're letting their kids out, and then police claim that Ray Africa ran outside at that point and started shooting at them. But one of the survivors, Bertie, later said that Ray did not have a gun. The only thing he had in his hand was a monkey wrench, which he had to use to open the door because, that was the only way they could get open, the pyronet. Birdie was a child at the time, and he claimed that the police just opened fire as they came out. He would later mimic the sound of a machine gun in his court deposition by tapping onto the desk. Cops say that Rand and another man ran back into the Inferno to regroup. Is that right? That's what they're going to do. Yeah. They're going to run back inside the fire. Their bodies will later be found. So,
It doesn't. Okay. So there's like a couple of things when you're dealing with, like, obviously this is like a cult and obviously it had problems, right?
Yep.
I don't think there's any disagreement about that.
Nope.
People who have a cause that feel righteous in that cause and who believe in what they're doing will definitely be more likely to martyr themselves to the police than run back into a fucking inferno that the police already bombed the shit out of.
Yeah, especially whenever they're trying to free their women and children, you know what I mean?
Right. And at the same time, they would, in the majority of cases, I don't think I have ever seen anyone in the history of ever be like, oh, let's just run back into the fire instead of being martyred to police bullets.
Yeah.
Like,
makes perfect sense, right?
What the fuck?
So the cops say...
And even if you did run out with a gun firing, you would think you'd have some police officers that weren't getting shot in the back.
Right.
Maybe they had no faith in the ability of the police to hit a target.
I mean, yeah.
Birdie and a woman named Ramona Africa, they run out when this is all going down, right? At that point, everything is on fire. The cop said, wait a minute. This is messed up. Sorry. Anyways, Ramona was on the side of the fence and tried to lift Birdie over, but Birdie fell and, is winded from the fall. The other cop, not the one with the gun, runs over, picks Birdie up, and, carries him to safety.
Wow, one cop did the thing that they were supposed to do after the fact.
And the whole time, the other guy's yelling at him that it's a trap and don't fucking do that. Let him die, all that kind of shit.
Wow, good job, that one cop, for kind of doing your job a little bit.
Ramona and Birdie were the only members of Move to Survive. The fire killed 11 people in the house, 6 adults, 5 children. John Africa, Rhonda, Theresa, Frank, Conrad, Tree, Delicia, Netta, Little, Phil, Tommaso, and Raymond.
And how much property damage? Because that's the way Republicans like to measure things.
61 neighbors' homes were destroyed by the fire, leaving 250 people were now homeless.
Wow. Good job, police. Good job, Philadelphia.
The Philadelphia News cited unnamed police sources insisting throughout the week that at least 3 members of MOVE had been killed outside by police gunfire. So I'm sure 2 of those have been, the 2 gentlemen, Ray and one other guy that supposedly ran back in, but obviously didn't. So at this point, I'm going to show you guys a video here.
Oh my god.
That's
it. Oh. Okay. Jesus. This looks like the opening montage of an apocalypse movie.
That's the opening for fucking Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Holy.
Sambor, remember our dearly commissioner, right? Blamed the blaze on the presence of other flammable materials that could have caught fire when the bomb detonated.
Who could have predicted
Could
that?
have at 700 degrees Fahrenheit? Yeah, for explosives that are meant for internally closed spaces as opposed to flying fucking everywhere. I don't fucking. How could this have possibly happened? Why would the FBI and the government want to carpet bomb in a predominantly upper middle class black area? Gee, I don't fucking know.
Oh, don't bring race into it now. Don't be doing that.
Yeah, all right, sure.
He says that he believed MOVE members might have deliberately spread around combustible fluids such as gasoline.
When? Why? to their other black community people? What are you talking about, you insane crackheads? Nobody's gonna fucking believe that.
So, yeah, his argument didn't go over very well.
Good.
It had forced him to assist the police at the time that they decided to drop the bomb and had no knowledge that there was highly flammable material about the house. But that was impossible to suppose that the police did not know this, as that they had 24-hour surveillance on
You
their
think?
apartment. Right? They knew of explosives in the house. They were claiming that before. So what the fuck?
This is literally we're not in the wrong.
Yeah.
We're just stupid. Like it's this argument that, oh, haha, Your Honor, I'm just a fucking moron. Like you can't convict me of doing anything or be mad at me. I'm just a little stupid guy. No.
Well,
Good
the mayor must have felt
God.
that way because he took Sambor's side in the argument. But he finally
We're
admitted.
only competent here.
Yeah. That the fire, it appeared, may have been started with the explosion.
Really? Maybe.
Had it been made clear that Gord that the Torx bomb had been dropped.
I am screaming right now.
Yeah. Quote, what was said to me was that they were going to use an explosive device to blow off the bunker, off the roof. See?
Are you sure they don't want to jerk off the bunker?
And what would be the echo on that?
Yeah. So all these
cum echo?
discrepancies. The cum echo. It comes back.
Oh no!
I'm glad we can find something to laugh
everywhere.
about
That's
this.
how the fire spread.
Yeah, when I said I wanted to get my own back, this is not what I meant.
Spitting into the wind.
So all these discrepancies, plus the fact that the police consulted no outside experts on crucial questions, was enough to suggest that if nothing else, haphazard decision-making, Goody appointed an investigation commission called the Philadelphia Special Investigation Commission, aka the Move Commission, chaired by attorney William H. Brown III. Sambor resigned in November 1985. In a speech the following year, he claimed that he was simply a surrogate for the mayor.
What?
So during this commission, the Move Commission, Officer James Berger, the cop that saved Birdie, right, testified to the commission about the events. During the commission's hearings, he was on the verge of tears the whole time, expressing remorse about having a part in the bombing. He had, quote, I'm not going to say the word. I'm sure you can figure out what I mean. N-word, lover, written on his police locker. He was diagnosed with PTSD and left the force in 1987.
Is that the one guy who saved the two?
Yep.
Okay. It's like the one cop that kind of almost did his job.
He acted like a fucking human.
Yeah,
like
wow.
a fucking human being. Yeah.
He's an N-word lover.
Figure. And the only one who's willing to take any kind of responsibility. Go fucking figure. Here's the thing. This is something that irritates me just in general, where it's just like, if you're gonna do it and you think you're justified in doing it, fucking own it.
Yeah.
Fucking own it.
Yep.
And if you don't feel like you can, then you did it wrong. And you fucking own it. Like, I mean, Canada even does that shit. Canada's just like, oh, a bunch of First Nations people were found dead in these schools.
Right.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good and wasn't what we intended, but is definitely we don't pretend it didn't happen. We go, shit, what do we do about this? And do we succeed in trying to do better? Not always. Do we try? Sometimes. Depends on who's in office at the time. But at least it's not, oh, this didn't happen. We're not running around being like, Ukraine invaded Russia. What the fuck? Same reason we own fucking war crimes. We're like, Canada did war crimes. It's like, nah, we invented war crimes. They weren't war crimes yet. But we don't say, we were right and should be doing this in the future. No, what we're gonna do is we're gonna invent new ones. And be like, well, we knew those things are bad. We can't do those things. Time to invent some new stuff. Like...
Yeah. If you guys could just stop following us into our war crimes, you'd be so much better. Right? Just like, wait a minute, who wants to do it? America? No, we're not doing it. But they said it's about peace. Bullshit. We're not doing it.
Conversation for another time. You two should come on to Debate Hub and talk with me about like politics and like
fuck yeah.
going to wars and stuff, but and like the relationship between Canada and America. That would be great. Fantastic. We'll schedule after.
Oh, I saw your Exodus thing, and man, that fucking pissed me off from Nave to the chops, man. It just pissed me off.
Move Commission issued a report March 6, 1986. The report denounced the action of city government, stating that, quote, dropping a bomb on an occupied row house was unconscionable. Following the release of the report, Goody made a formal public apology. No one from the city government was criminally charged with the attack.
Boo!
Yeah.
Boo!
The only surviving adult Move member, Ramona Africa, was charged. You know, the important things, right? She got charged and convicted for riot and conspiracy. She served 7 years in prison.
What riot?
What conspiracy?
I don't know. I don't know if those are the charges leading up to this. I don't fucking know. I mean, it doesn't fucking matter, really. I mean, she shouldn't have fucking served a day in jail. She just got fucking bombed.
Yeah, you don't think you did enough? Yeah.
We're even, man. I mean, right? What the fuck? 1996, a federal judge ordered that the city pay $1.5 million in a civil judgment suit to Ramona and her relatives, or the relatives of the two people that were killed in the bombing, as in her relatives, because she had family.
Yeah.
The jury had found the city used excessive force.
Sending a helicopter to bomb a residential area. Definitely not excessive force. Jesus Christ.
Violated the members' constitutional protection rights under unreasonable search and seizure. 2005. What's that?
Fourth Amendment.
Yep.
2005 federal judge Clarence Charles Newcomer, great name, presided over the civil trial brought by residents seeking damages for having been displaced by widespread destruction following the 1985 bombing. The jury awarded them all $12.83 million against the city of Philadelphia, which seems low. I mean, that seems like.
I mean, it kind of like we have to adjust for inflation, I guess.
That's back when $12.8 million was a lot of money.
Yeah,
maybe.
So it'd be like depending on the value of their house at the time, that multiplied by yada yada yada.
It should be more than that, than even. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Anyways, November 12th, 2020, the City Council of Philadelphia passed a resolution, quote, apologizing, quote, for the decisions and events preceding and leading to the devastation that occurred on May 13th, 1985. Council established an annual day of observation, reflection, and commitment to remember the Move bombing.
Are they still doing that?
Everything's okay now, man. It's all good.
We're going to think real hard about that thing we are not sorry for.
Yeah, and reflecting. Yeah.
Insert your best constipation face here.
Reflecting!
Is that the face you make right before you echo come?
Yep.
That's this whole thing. You know what? That is an accurate description of this entire situation. Is the Philadelphia police force and government echo coming all over themselves, and then the additional echo coming after is the FBI being like, black people.
And Ramona is the only one who sees jail time.
Yeah.
Yep.
She didn't go anywhere.
Wow.
Ramona acts as a spokesman for the group Still Move, believe it or not.
Okay.
But Maya,
she's still alive right now.
Yes. I'm gonna butcher this guy's name.
We should do a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Well, Maya Abu Jamal, a journalist and activist who covered supporting Move, was convicted of the original sentence. He was part of the Move 9 that were taken in the first raid back in '81. The death sentence was overturned in 2011 by a federal judge, but Ramona and the rest of the Move still works to try to get him released.
Yeah.
Michael Moses Ward, also known as Birdie Africa, who was a child. He was 13 at the time of the bombing. He suffered serious burns from the fire. He lost his mother in the fire. His father, Antonio Ward sued the city and the parties and reached a settlement. He lived with his father afterwards and did not remain involved with Move. Unfortunately, though, he died in 2013 in an accidental drowning. He was in a hot tub, uh, like a cruise, and
I think I heard about this.
he got drunk and he apparently drowned. Um, Now, for some even darker news, April 2021, the Pennsylvania Museum, Penn Museum, the University of Pennsylvania, apologized to the Africa family for allowing human remains from Move housed to be used in research and training.
What?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
In 1985, the Philadelphia
How did they
city.
get from Philadelphia to Pennsylvania?
Well, Philadelphia is in Pennsylvania.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. I'm Canadian.
That's a bit of a hike.
I'm clipping that out.
Why
Shaming
do
you
you think
with it.
Pennsylvania was a state?
Pennsylvania is the state.
state.
Oh,
Philadelphia's the
okay.
city.
All right. Wait. Pennsylvania is the state. Philadelphia is the city inside of Pennsylvania, the state.
Yes.
Got it. All right.
Yeah, so
I understand.
On one side of the state is Philadelphia, which is evil, bad place, and then the other side is Pittsburgh, which is a wonderful place.
Is it,
Just saying.
out of curiosity, is it this way or is it this way?
That way.
It's this side. It's this side.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
Pittsburgh's on the Ohio side, and
Yeah.
Philadelphia's on the sensible side.
The not Ohio side.
Barry shits on Pittsburgh. It's another reason I don't like Barry. But anyways.
I should on Philadelphia too, in my defense.
Well, that's fair.
I never liked Philadelphia because they always played really dirty hockey.
Exactly. That's why I fucking hate them. I'm dude. Pittsburgh, man.
The Penguins.
Yes.
That's not
Which are a real team. Convince that motherfucker. He doesn't believe me.
They had Sidney Crosby as their captain for years. Sidney Crosby is an
Sidney
Ontario.
Crosby. This guy that Seamus made up about 10 episodes ago. Yeah. First of all, that's not a real person's name. Nobody's called Sidney Crosby. Secondly, if you had a sporting team, no matter what they were doing, where they were going, you would never name them.
Don't bother, Chesh. I've sent him videos. I sent him the documentary they did on Mario Lemieux. It doesn't matter.
I'm just trying to know. I don't remember where he was born. Oh, he's Nova Scotia.
Yep. Cole Harbor, I believe.
Yeah, Cole Harbor. Yeah.
Yep. Which is it Cole Harbor part of Severance? That's kind of weird. Is that what they're looking for? Is Sidney Crosby? Why don't they just fucking? Anyways.
I like that you've sorted out your stories before coming on today. That's
So in '85, the Philadelphia City Medical Examiner found buried remains of Move and moved them to the University of Pennsylvania Museum Archaeological Anthropology for verification that the bones were in fact 14-year-old Tree Africa and 12-year-old Delisha Africa. Philadelphia Health Commissioner Thomas Farley resigned in May 2021 upon revelations because they've been used in studies for years.
I don't like what studies though. For what? How did they get there?
Bone, because the guy that was part of I took this out actually. The guy that was part of the museum at the time. He left he was part of the medical coroners or whatever. They brought it to the university to determine who they were and how they died.
Okay.
And then he kept them and took him with him whenever he became a part of the Penn Museum. Yeah.
You fucking psychopath.
Yes, he kept it with him and use it for studying. He did like a webinar with it. It's fucking gross, yeah.
But what,
without telling the fucking family, no release, no nothing.
What?
Yeah.
What the
The Philadelphia Health Commissioner Thomas.
With you people, I don't understand.
Because they don't see them as people. That's the other part of this, right? I mean, let's just be honest. They don't see them as people. That's why those cackling fucking bitches were watching people burn because they don't see them as people.
It seems lifestyle.
Yeah, sorry. May 2021, upon revelations of this, he ordered a cremation of the set victims' remains without notification or obtaining permission from the families of the deceased, or even releasing the names of the deceased. The day after his resignation, the remains were recovered in a cardboard box, simply labeled "Move." They were given back to the families. And that's the story of Move.
What the fuck?
No,
The
fan of bombing
Did
people.
I just witness? The incompetency alone, the unnecessary excessive violence, all of these things in a bubble. If you just took them without any additional context, usually when you take something bad that happens and you take one thing out of it and be like, well, this one thing is fine. No, you can't do that with any of these things. The incompetency is terrible, both when it comes to the firing and the handling of the situation overall, especially when they forgot there was their own security detail surveillance being there. The bombing using the worst possible explosive you could have chosen if you were only trying to actually bomb that one spot, which clearly their intention was to just carpet bomb this entire upper middle class black area because fuck black people. That's this whole thing. This whole thing is just fuck black people, and let's make an excuse because we don't like that these black people have guns and have opinions about political structure. How dare they?
Yeah, if they would have been a group that was all white, I kind of wonder, would this even fucking happen? I mean, we know Waco happened, but I don't think we can compare these. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can compare these folks to Waco by any means. I mean, I think that, and I could be wrong because, I just didn't see or come across. I don't think they would have armed themselves if it wasn't for the fact that they perceived that they were under siege because they were constantly getting fucked with by the cops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if that was part of it.
Yeah.
So maybe they were just annoying assholes that would still be annoying assholes, and that would have been it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to live next to them, just for the simple fact I don't like fucking feces, naked fucking people, and roaches.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like, nobody would want that.
But they negotiated out of that by being like, hey, listen, take this farmland instead, done, problem solved.
Why
was that not
Jersey?
The end of the problem?
Everybody likes shit in Jersey. Come on, it's Jersey.
Well, okay, so here's the other thing, too, is, like, all you really
I'm shitting on a lot of areas.
all you really need is a couple of expert ecologists.
Yeah.
And then, like, people who study, like, in the environment to come in and be like, listen, we're going to help you clean this up. We're going to treat everything well.
Yeah.
And we're going to show you how to do this in a way that is not going to be harmful to you or the animals and the plants that you want to protect.
Don't call them scientists. Call them shamans.
Sure.
Yeah. But I mean, again, in a way, we're kind of victim blaming on a part, but we're not. You know what I mean? I mean, they should have taken a deal. They probably would have been better off.
Well, here's the thing. When I say they should have taken the deal, they did. So why didn't they leave? I'm not saying that they chose not to leave. I'm suggesting or implying that there might be a reason why they didn't feel safe to move to that area because they'd been harassed by the police the whole fucking time.
Maybe.
And now they'd be out in the open, like in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, where their protests would mean nothing. Yeah. So, like, there's reasons why. I'm not trying to say that they're in the wrong for not doing this or not doing that. What I'm saying is that literally everything around them was working against them, and that seems to be intentional.
Or you're racist and we just canceled you. Okay.
No. All right.
Yeah. No, it's
well,
fine.
this show is predominantly white.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I think I'm going to have to replace Barry. We'll talk about that later, Chesh.
It's because you got an American flag in your background.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can take it away.
You bootlicker. No.
I didn't mean it.
Just start the episode every time with Barry walking in the door, walking on top of the American flag before he sits down every episode.
Oh, dude, why don't you do that?
What are we doing now?
That's a fucking gold idea, man. That's gold.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. All right, but that's the story for tonight.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's in the news? Jesus. What's new? Yeah, this is a part of the show where we put the FBI and the CIA into Google, and we hit the news tab, and we laugh at the stupid shit that the CIA and the FBI are doing this week. In case you think we're all talking about history and stuff, this is all relevant to current stuff. Seamus will now regale us with tales of current FBI mismanagement.
Regale away, huh? FBI returns records from Mar-a-Lago search to Trump.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, they just
details.
The classified documents that he had taken back to Mar-a-Lago and he had stored in his background were seized from him while he was not president. They gave them back to him for reasons.
The Department of Justice says just return boxes that the Jesus, who put this? Oh, this is Trump's quote on Truth Social. The Department of Justice. I'm not gonna do it, Trump.
The Department of Justice. Send it to me. I'll read it.
Started.
The Department of Justice has just returned the boxes that deranged Jack Smith, made such a big deal about. They are being brought down to Florida and will someday be part of the Trump Presidential Library. Trump wrote, "Justice finally won out. I did absolutely nothing wrong. This was merely an attack on a political opponent that obviously did not work well. Justice in our country has now been restored."
I was not ready for that. Your presentation and goddamn half the shit that was coming out of what the fuck? This fucking library is going to be in the whatever.
This is the type of library that's going to, if it even goes up, is going to get torn down in the revolution.
Let's hope.
It's going to have 5 books in it, and 4 of them will be
yeah, what are you going to have in a Trump library? I hope it's gold-plated.
5 copies of...
I use the gold from Fort Knox when they go and search it to see if there's any gold there.
So, the next one, FBI Deputy Director... Bogino, what's this guy? Dan Bogino, the fucking douchebag. He's the deputy director. Repeatedly said that the pipe bombs planted ahead of January 6th were an inside job. I believe the FBI knows the identity of the pipe bomber on January 6th 4 years ago and just doesn't want to tell us because it was an inside job.
What?
This was an inside job. It's the biggest scandal in FBI history.
Would it be an inside job of MAGA individuals inside at the time?
Or MAGA individuals inside the FBI?
Yeah, that's what I mean. What?
Yeah, he was the most, in tight with law enforcement that you'll ever get. I mean, although Biden gave them more money, they definitely, got more love from
What was the end game for the FBI there?
I don't know.
I'm not Pence, I don't know.
And again, they're not above doing stupid shit, as we've explained on this show many times. I don't think
mention insurrection.
Yeah,
something poorly thought through.
Yeah. Attorney General Pam Bondi accuses the FBI. She's the head of the Justice Department.
She's also in Scientology's pocket, for anybody who doesn't know.
Yeah, accuses FBI of withholding Epstein files.
She said she got them, though. So now she's saying that they're being withheld. She said they were already on her desk.
She says that they were able to release what they had, except for what the FBI had. The FBI's not sending them to them.
She said she literally claimed that she had the Epstein files on her desk, and she was on Fox News. She said this, and that she is going through them. And that they're going to be released. And then they weren't released. And then a bunch of right-wing influencers were handed little packets, one of which was wearing a free Janine Maxwell shirt, dancing around saying they got this file. Yeah. But the file is something we all already had because it was just the fucking flight logs. So it changes nothing. And so they've been getting criticism. And now she's trying to walk back and blame the FBI for not giving her the files that she already claimed she had.
Yep.
Because this administration is a fucking joke and an absolute fucking shit show, and we don't negotiate with terrorists.
No, we are the terrorists, mister.
You better look out.
This is a terrible...
Put me on a no-fly list.
Terribly written article by Forbes.
Assuming the fucking flight could even get there without the air traffic controllers, you fucking clowns. This is one of the things that I've been concerned about, the America versus Canada stuff and what a war would look like or what a trade war would look like. And I'm getting less and less concerned because of how the Trump administration is just dismantling the things that I would have been concerned about.
Fair.
Oh yeah, I'm really scared of Pete Hegseth. Ooh.
He's a douche.
He's gonna get hit in the face with a fucking hockey puck. That's what's gonna happen to him.
Yeah. Last one, FBI Director Kash Patel wants to bring the UFC to the FBI.
I saw that. I didn't look into it. I just saw the headline and was like, what?
Let me see here. Plans to overhaul the national premier law enforcement agency proposed enhancing their ranks with the help of Ultimate Fighting Championship, the martial arts and entertainment giant whose wealthy CEO Dana White
Dana
helped
White,
boost.
yeah.
On tele something or other
So they're
Wednesday
gonna
with
bring Dana White in to do what? Dana White's not the fighter. Dana White's the owner.
right.
So like, what are you?
Establish former relationship with the UFC, which could develop programs for agents to improve their physical fighting skills. Oh come on!
They
It's
want the
cage
FBI to all
fighting.
be UFC fighters.
If they're trying, oh my god! If they're trying to
These
up
people are
their
all
physical
performers, no
fitness,
substance, and you can tell.
the UFC is very specific in their fitness. Okay.
If the FBI, if the FBI doesn't get a director that's not Hulk Hogan, I'm gonna be very upset.
I just what the actual.
Hey
fuck?
there, brother! We're gonna carpet bomb these black neighborhoods, yeah.
Oh, yeah, really. So that's all I got.
Guatemala, more like Guatemalan.
That's all I got for the FBI. What do you got for CIA?
CIA, all right. I got some links
We're
here.
gonna Guatemala them.
My first link is it's how a CIA informant stopped Taiwan from developing nuclear weapons.
Oh,
In
okay.
January 1988, one of Taiwan's most senior nuclear engineers defected to the United States after passing crucial intelligence on a top secret program that would alter the course of Taiwan's history. The course of Taiwan's history, of course, is very interesting for all sorts of reasons. Taiwan, as we know, was called the Republic of China as the official name of Taiwan, because Chiang Kai-shek ranked the UN and registered the name the Republic of China before Mao Zedong could get there. That's number one. That's on CNN, funnily enough. Second link is CIA looking into UK's reported backdoor request to Apple encryption. The CIA, NSA, and multiple other US intelligence agencies have been asked to examine a report requested from the UK government for Apple to implement a backdoor into their encryption. So I'll just leave that to you there, whatever implications you feel may or may not be arising out of that. But that's on Sky News. And on NBC News, a federal judge rules Trump administration can fire career intel officers who had DEI jobs.
Yeah.
A federal judge ruled Thursday that the Trump administration can go ahead with plans to fire dozens of officers from the CIA and other intelligence agencies who had temporary jobs working on diversity programs.
Remember a minute ago when I said the things that I would be concerned about in a war with America are being dismantled?
U.S. District Judge Anthony Trenga said if fairness and morals were the standard on which he had to rule, he might have delivered a different decision.
What?
He said he was constrained by the law, but if fairness and morals were the standard, he might have delivered a different decision. What a great line. That's all I got for the CIA.
So Canada actually recently did a drive-by of between Taiwan, like that strait there, that just right through, and it was like a Canadian military boat, and China was like, "You better not," and Canada was like, because like Canada's like so done. If you like go and talk to like Canadians are fucking so goddamn done right now. It is not even fun. It's ridiculous.
Don't blame them.
There's like massive boycotts going on, both in traveling to America at all and buying American goods. The general vibe is everybody being, first off, generally frustrated with the position that America is putting us in, but also the position that we're ending up in with the rest of the world and how they're interacting with everything else. And a very anti-dictator vibe is going on, and a very anti-authoritarian vibe is going on. Now, we've always sort of had that vibe, but like it is just ramping up. So seeing Canadians not giving a shit about China, and like our prime minister has made statements about recognizing Taiwan. I don't think we are officially on the list as Canada that says that we recognize Taiwan as its own individual, but as far as I know, like our parliament does feel that way. And our people feel that way, but I don't think we're technically on the list, but I'm not 100% sure.
Barry?
Yeah.
Do we lose you?
No, sorry. I just
Okay.
I'm on some very strange drugs at the moment.
Oh, cool. Could you share?
Trulicity. It's like Ozempic
Oh, okay. Never
for
mind.
diabetes. You do not want some of this.
Nah,
Oh, the lizard drug.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So that's our show, folks. Oh, before we go, which I meant to have you plug your stuff in the beginning, but the puppet thing threw me. So, so for those that live under a rock and do not know who Chesh is, tell everybody about yourself there, Chesh.
Hi, come and hang out with me on Debate Hub. For personal reasons, I'm taking a bit of a break from my regular channel, which is usually just me talking shit, so it's not really that important anyway. But if you want like more educational, more discussions, more like technical conversation that kind of matters, go ahead and head over to Debate Hub. You can find me there. I'm still currently active over there. So I'm taking a break from my regular channel, so find me over on Debate Hub.
I will also be on Debate Hub.
You were on Debate Hub yesterday.
I was on Debate Hub yesterday.
Oh, sweet. I missed it.
Yeah.
I think I retweeted. I saw you posted something.
Yeah, Barry is on our philosophy episodes that are every Saturday, the first Saturday of every month. So that was as of yesterday because we're filming this on the 2nd, on the Sunday. But
we can cut that out. We can cut that out.
I'll just watch it just because you said so. But even though
it's very good. I definitely recommend it. And the shows are definitely like shorter, so they're a little bit more consumable.
Cool.
Also check the comment section. It's usually hilarious.
And Chesh also clips out these little clips of the most dramatic / amusing moments, and they always have me in them.
A lot of the time, yeah.
It's probably why I don't watch them because I just I only
That's
take
fair.
so much Barry. So
See, that would have been a clip I would have clipped out.
So next, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Are we doing CIA? What are we doing, Barry?
I think at the moment we're provisionally going CIA. Otherwise, it'll be a jib jabs.
Good job. Or Founding
Bye,
Feckhead?
everybody.
Founding
What?
Feckhead?
No jib jabs.
Jib jabs? Okay, we'll do a jib jab.
All right.
All right. Yep. We'll see you all. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.